Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So if you're new here, I'm Ryan, and today I wanted to go over this Giraffe Tools hose reel and just give you my thoughts on it, stuff like that. So I bought this 3 months ago and I've been using it off and on, and was noticing something weird with it when I was going to use air sprayer, like one of these or one of these right here. Or even inflating tires, stuff like that. I was noticing performance of it was weird. So it was like, at first it was working well, and then after a couple seconds, it was the airflow was dying down. So I actually bought a brand new regulator because of that, and installed that this morning. And so I know for a fact it's not the regulator that's the issue. And my old regulator was a few years old, and it was a little spotty. It's kind of this Chizo one that came with the compressor, so it was a little spotty and did some weird stuff. So I was giving it the benefit of the doubt, thinking, okay, well, it's just the regulator causing my issues. And so I've ruled that out now. Brand new regulator, like I said, and this regulator is far better than the other one. So the issue is this hose reel does not produce very much volume. And what I mean by that is, if you're using especially like air tools, which I do have some air tools, here's one right here that needs consistent decent volume. And if you're going to be using like one of these compressors, like I use this for spraying texture on a wall or ceiling, and that uses a ton of volume, this hose reel is absolutely not going to work for you. For whatever reason, the throughput on this hose, and I'm guessing it's something to do with this fitting and through here, it is very small. And after like a second of spraying air out at 100 psi, it noticeably dies way down on the pressure, and that's a problem. And I could see it being a problem if you're using even staple guns, brad nail guns, especially larger guns like this one, that are going to be using a more volume per shot. So if you're doing a bunch of shots back to back, it's potentially going to be a problem. The good news for me is where this is getting used in my workshop, which is a disaster mess right now, but it's probably going to be fine, because in here I mostly use smaller nail guns and smaller staple guns. Like we got this T50 shooter here. I've got some 18 gauge guns here, which are the primary ones I use in here. Those don't use a ton of volume per shot, so I don't think, and so far it hasn't presented as an issue on using those, even with some back-to-back shots. So I think for in here it'll be okay, but there are some issues in here where there's often times where I need to blast something off, blast dust off of something, and this was impossible to do that with. Like I said, you get maybe a second of good pressure, and then it just dies completely off. And I guess I can demonstrate that here on camera. Not sure how well the sound will pick up on this camera, but let's see. Can you hear that? And it is still refilling that hose. I mean, it's still going. It's just now stopping. I think that's about 10 seconds to refill that hose. That's absurd. It's got a big bottleneck in there somewhere. And so, like I said, I don't know how well it's gonna pick up on camera, but trust me, it's a problem. If you're using anything high volume, it's not gonna work for you. And the funny thing is, the advertisement on Amazon has a video on there showing somebody using an air blower nozzle in the 30-second ad video, making it seem like this is going to be good for this. And it's, to me, it's borderline false advertisement, because I'm expecting this to work consistently similar to a normal hose based on the stuff I saw on Amazon. And of course the Amazon reviews are glowing, 4.4 stars I think out of 5, with thousands of reviews as usual. I don't know. I will say the amount of money I paid for it, I don't know. It's if you're doing, you know, some small stuff with it, small nail guns, I think it'll be okay. It's just don't buy this expecting it to completely replace your air hose. And as you see here, I've even bought a splitter. I never had a splitter before, never needed one before, but now I need one. And so I've got my old hose hooked up and then this new hose. So anytime I need anything high volume, I'm just going to go back to using the old hose. And this hose was supposed to replace the old hose because, you know, I didn't want to have a hose, you know, laid out everywhere all the time. So again, that's somewhat of a disappointment with this. If I had known this ahead of time, I would not have bought it because it like I said, I bought this to completely replace the old hose, and so it doesn't do that. And like I said, just disappointment all around on this thing. So I will continue to use it for now, and we'll just see how long it lasts. I don't plan on buying another one, a different brand or anything right now. I'm just kind of over it. I'll just use both hoses, and yeah. So that's my thoughts on this thing. I mean, I would give it, I don't know, because of that blatant false advertisement, 2 out of 5 stars. It does work. And as I said, I haven't noticed doing multiple shots to where the staples or nails aren't sinking. But I bet you if I were to test it with this big nail gun here and actually try to throw up some sheathing or something with that nail gun, I can pretty much guarantee you that hose would not keep up, and then the nails would stop going in as far as they should be. So yeah, anyways. Hopefully this helps somebody somewhere who's thinking about buying this thing. I would caution you, depending on what you're using this for, think to look elsewhere. All right, so you guys just saw a clip comparing the performance of the hose reel, orange hose reel versus the yellow, just standard hose, showing you how it drops off on that die grinder. And that was a few weeks ago. The seller actually contacted me and we got a replacement shipped out, which is this one down here. I've just swapped over the fittings and hooked it up. So we're going to compare it side by side to the yellow hose and just see how it, you know, see if this hose does any better. So we just got a die grinder here and typical standard air tool that probably many of you use, and just hook it up and see how it does. And we've got it set to 90 psi. Yeah, it's got the same problem as the other reel. It just takes way too long to fill up that hose, and the volume going through it is not enough. And comparing that to just this hose, yep, just works just fine. So it's not an issue with the compressor or regulator or anything. It's the hose reel. So some kind of design issue that does not allow enough throughput to perform well. And it does the same thing with I showed that earlier. It does the same thing when you're just blasting air, you know. because there's many times where I just need to blast stuff off or clean stuff out with the air hose, and it's just this reel makes it impossible to do that because the pressure goes down so low and just doesn't perform. So again, that, depending on what you're using this for, it may still work for you. But for me, using air tools, using the blow nozzle, no, it's not doing it, not cutting it. So at any rate, glad that the seller, decided to send a replacement to see if that was, an issue, defective unit, but apparently it's just some other issue, design or otherwise, I don't know. But yeah, hopefully this helps somebody out there who's looking at buying these. I would suggest a different brand if you need the performance. If you're using air tools, absolutely going to need a different air hose than this. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.